Tonight on Carolina News. The Columbia Courthouse reopened after a bomb threat today. Here are what police had to say.
See how one South Carolina city is cracking down on distracted drivers.
And I think it was just time to implement a law that could potentially save lives.
And one mom's worst nightmare was avoided thanks to a quick-thinking bystander.
And that's when I realized that he was blue and just completely laid over in his car seat, which that is an image I full on believe I will never, ever forget.
All this and more coming up on Carolina News.
Live from the capital city, Carolina News brings you your news first. With breaking news and in-depth reporting. Up-to-the-minute weather. And all your sports news and highlights. It's all here, now, on Carolina News.
Hello and welcome to Carolina News. I'm Brittany Peacock.
Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. I'm Lauren Hoare. The strictest texting while driving ban in South Carolina went into effect last week in the upstate.
The law bans more than just texting in hope of keeping drivers attentive on the road.
Taylor Bingham was in Greenville to find out how the city plans to enforce the new law.
The city of Greenville decided that it's not just texting and driving that causes problems on the road.
Driving distracted goes so much farther than just texting. And they felt like to only focus on texting would be to fall short of what they were trying to accomplish.
The distracted driving ordinance bans drivers from using any handheld device. This includes texting, using a GPS, and even talking on the phone. Some opponents of the ban say that their time in the car is the only time for communication.
It's always a really good time for me to catch up with those people.
Most people say they could manage using their phone while driving, but for some it's not until an accident occurs they realize how dangerous it really is.
Teenager Anna Lawless knows that danger firsthand.
Hey, I was going to the hospital, the doctor, just for a checkup, and it was weird because I went in the wrong way and I couldn't remember where how to get back to the hospital. And so I turned around, and as I was turning around, I looked down at my cell phone, and two cars were stopped, and one was turning left into their house, and the other car behind them, and I slammed into the back of him, and he slammed me back to the other car.
Greenville Police Officer Jonathan Bragg says police now hope the number of accidents will go down.
Greenville is progressing so much. The population is increasing every month, and we're just having more accidents caused by texting and driving, or some type of inattention to the road by using a mobile device. And I think it was just time to implement a law that could potentially save lives.
The law does allow drivers to use a Bluetooth device, speakerphone, or a GPS, as long as the phone is mounted somewhere safe and your hands are free. And even though the city says the ordinance is a good thing, some people still doubt how they will enforce it.
There's a lot of people that don't follow the law. I think they're going to have a phone crackdown in order to make it work.
For first-time violators, the fine is $100, second-time offense is $200, third-time offense is $300, and at that point, a judge could confiscate your device.
Your phone? Dang. I didn't know that.
But Fletcher says it's not about writing tickets, it's about changing behavior.
People won't even think about it. They'll just automatically know not to do it.
Fletcher and Bragg both said they are hoping other cities will see the success and join in on the distracted driving ordinance. Taylor Bingham, Carolina News.
Officers wrote 16 warnings on the first day the law went into effect and were told it was up to their discretion whether to write a ticket or not. 6 cities, including Charleston and Columbia, already have texting while driving bans, but these bans aren't enforced.
Columbia police shut down Washington Street between Park and Gadsden Streets for almost 3 hours today after someone called in a bomb threat to Columbia's Municipal County Courthouse. Police, firefighters, SLED, and the FBI responded to the threat and evacuated the building and surrounding businesses and offices. Police spokeswoman Jennifer Timmons says a bomb squad and K-9 officers swept the building and found nothing suspicious. She says that the police take bomb threats seriously and always follow procedure. Police finished checking the building and started letting people back inside around 12:30 this afternoon. Timmons says the person who made the call will face charges if police are able to find them. A group of faith leaders held a vigil and rally for what they say is the necessary removal of the environment of evil that permeates the State House this morning.
This is not about her party. This is not about her politics. It is about
the rally was sponsored by the NAACP. The group of faith leaders spoke on topics like Medicaid expansion. Ralliers held signs saying morality is not partisan. And they closed out the rally with a visual prayer and some singing.
The $29 million loan planned to go towards a minor league baseball stadium in Columbia may cost $2 million more. The city of Columbia will vote tonight, and if approved, the additional $2 million would go towards a mile-long pedestrian walkway. The mayor says the paths would go through old neighborhoods near the proposed Bull Street neighborhood, where the stadium would be built. It would also go towards a new entranceway to the Columbia Museum of Art.
Our weather specialist Kathleen Jacobs is outside in the parking lot. It looks like the rain has stopped, doesn't it, Kathleen?
That's right, Brittany. That rain has moved through, and with it, it has washed away a lot of that pollen. Unfortunately, not all of it. There's still some on cars everywhere, so you allergy sufferers might have to suffer through a little bit longer. But at least we will be seeing warmer temperatures. Right now, we'll get a high of about 70 today. Tomorrow, it will warm up to the mid-70s. Throughout the rest of the week, it will continue to climb even higher, and we will see mostly sunny skies. I'll tell you how long we can expect this nice weather later in the forecast.
President Obama announced yesterday more than $100 million in grants for 24 schools across the country. 3 South Carolina school districts will share $6.9 million of the funds to help prepare students for careers in computer science and engineering. Ridgeview and Westwood High Schools in Richland 2, Clinton High School in Lawrence, 56th and Lawrence High School in District 55 will all get the funding. President Obama signed 2 executive actions today aimed at strengthening existing equal pay laws.
a woman's got to work about 3 more months in order to get what a man got because she's paid less. That's not fair.
Today's signing coincides with National Equal Pay Day, serving as a reminder that more than 50 years after the Equal Pay Act was made law, women still earn less than men. On average, women earn only about 77 cents on the dollar compared with men. The measures will only apply to companies with federal contracts, but Obama has urged Congress to extend protections to all American workers.
If you're looking to start a business, your main revenue may not come from where you expect. A new Gallup poll shows that almost a third of businesses with less than 5 employees rely on a second job as their main income. Paul Kritzman shows us how one startup is hoping to avoid this trend.
At Crit, we're building a vibrant community of designers and a powerfully simple interface to help you get the best feedback possible.
3 USC students came up with the idea of Crit last semester. Crit is essentially an online platform to match up clients with designers. Bill Bowers works on the website and says he's not worrying about it making money.
I think it'll be relatively easy to get investors on board because it's scalable. There's a large market size, and we have the experience needed to run the business.
Not all startups are lucky enough to make money to support themselves from the beginning. Gallup released a poll showing that almost a third of all companies with less than 5 employees or micro businesses rely on a second job for their main income. When you look at just the first year, it's more than half of them. So what can young entrepreneurs who don't want to have to worry about a second income do? Well, the new trending thing is startup accelerators like the one here at the USC Columbia Technology Center. Alumnify is one of a handful of startup businesses along with Crit in the accelerator. Alumnify is unique in that the owners have gone through a few different accelerators and are at the point that they have investors and are working full-time on their business. Alumnify owners say when that's not possible, it's important to have the right help.
I think the people who are able to build great businesses who are part-time, a lot of times have an amazing team. So if they can only commit 6 hours, the other people can fill in for them in the blanks.
Bowers says that he thinks Crit has the right team and is hopeful that with being in the program with Alumnify, they can follow a similar path and have success in getting investors and making Crit his full-time job. Paul Kritzman, Carolina News.
Crit's owners will pitch their business on May 1st for the Accelerator's 2014 Demo Day at Converge. Other business owners will also pitch their various software, web, and mobile tech businesses and products.
A Saturday morning trip to Dunkin' Donuts nearly turned to tragedy for one Columbia family. All it took was one person to step out of their way to change that family's life forever. Chris Stanley has the story.
Everybody got a rubric, correct?
Dreher High School head soccer coach Clark McCarthy thought he had just stopped at the Dunkin' Donuts on Forest Drive on his way to morning practice. Little did he know what he was about to stumble upon.
When she opened the door and pulled Leighton out, I could tell something was severely wrong. I can't really explain it. It was just, I was there, I got Leighton out of her arms and immediately, just knew what to do.
That little boy was a member of the Major family, who was out running errands that day when little Leighton started choking on a donut hole. His mother Anna is still in shock at how calm McCarthy was in the face of such a stressful situation.
When Clark was walking away, I remember thinking, like, the real hero is, like, not even here right now. And as he was walking away, I'm like, wait, what is your name? And he was like, oh, it's Clark. And he's like, did I give you your phone back? And I'm like thinking, I don't care if you keep my phone,
But for McCarthy, the hero title isn't necessary. He just felt like he was doing what he needed to do.
More of a feeling of, it was just kind of, job's done, make sure Leighton's okay. And like I said, it was like something out of a movie.
Whether or not he wants to be called a hero, McCarthy can take home the fact that he kept the Major family's life intact and better in the long run. Chris Stanley, Carolina News.
Leighton, who was only 3 years old, now has many more years ahead of him thanks to Coach McCarthy.
Well, coming up next on Carolina News, emergency call boxes are all over campus, but see how one student's experience left her questioning their efficiency.
Never look a howler monkey in the eye. Fried ants are delicious. We finished a clinic and arranged them.
There are many safety options for students at USC. Call boxes are always in sight around campus, and the Carolina Alert System is supposed to keep the public updated on dangerous situations. But are we as safe as they say? Emily McDonald has more on one student's experience with the system.
Ann Jacobs says she was walking to Greek Village at 5 p.m. with two friends when a man stuck a camera under her skirt.
He was like, actually, I was trying to see if you had any panties on.
She immediately ran to the nearest call box while a friend called USC police, but she says help wasn't as organized as she expected.
When I hit the call box, for one, they were like, where are you? Like, explain to me where you are. And they couldn't, like, I was talking in the call box and they were like, we can't hear you. You have to give us the address that you're at. And I was like, I'm at Strom Bridge. I thought it had, like, your location right when you hit the box.
Jacob says the man who took the picture was parked nearby and left his car running and doors open. And during the 2 to 3 minutes it took to communicate their location using this call box, he was able to get away, dragging a passerby who tried to stop him. Even though police reports were filed, no crime alert was issued, which Jacob said was upsetting.
It kind of just made it feel like it wasn't a big deal at all, and that was a big deal to my friends and I.
Lindsay Greenbaum, one of the two people in charge of sending out alerts, says the timing of alerts is decided by the campus police department.
We work very closely with the police department, and as far as crime alerts, it's a decision that's made within the department as far as the time of the notification that is sent out, but we are aware of it at all times, and we do notify the students when we think it's absolutely necessary.
We spoke with USC PD's Eric Grabsky on the phone, and he says alerts are decided on by senior members of the department and are sent out if there seems to be a pattern in personal attacks and if it's an immediate threat to the community. Months later, Jacob hasn't heard anything about her incident and sees improvements that could be made in the system.
The call boxes all need to have cameras on them, because the one call box that would have gotten the guy driving away, his license plate didn't have a camera on it. And I thought they all had cameras, they knew where your location was.
Greenbaum says no matter where you stand on campus, you should always be able to see a call box. Even with that in mind, Jacob now travels with friends and says she's always aware of her surroundings. Emily McDonald, Carolina News.
Greenbaum says the best way to stay informed with alerts on campus is to keep an updated cell phone number and email address on your my.sc.edu.
A last-minute sickness forced Miley Cyrus to cancel her concert Monday night in Charlotte, North Carolina. Live Nation issued a statement saying Cyrus was diagnosed with the flu and doctors have ordered her to rest. They canceled it a half hour before it was set to start. The cancellation had many teens and Carolina students unhappy.
At first, I was just like speechless. Like, me and my sister were just hanging out, having some margaritas, like talking, and I just like didn't speak to her for like 5 minutes because this concert's all I've been talking about for like the past week.
Refunds will be issued for all ticket holders.
United Way of the Midlands is sending out children's books to several elementary schools in the Midlands after getting a large number of books from a former book retailer. Ashton Frager tells us why United Way could not pass up this opportunity.
United Way employees have been packing these children's books for just under a week. And when United Way found out about these extra books that the R.L. Bryan Company had, they knew they had to get a hold of them.
We couldn't let that pass by. We thought it would be an absolute failure in our community if books, children's books, stayed in a warehouse.
And United Way coordinator Emerald Anderson Ford wants to make sure these books get into students' hands by summer.
But we do hope to have all of them distributed the first week in May before school lets out. We want students to be able to take these home, have them over the summer.
Volunteers came out to help the United Way finish packing children's books, like these. These books will be going to schools in the Midlands area. There were over $80,000 worth of books here, and the United Way got them at a steal of a price.
The United Way is purchasing the books for $10,000.
R.L. Bryan CFO Bruce Vanderheide knew these books would go towards a good cause.
When Kathy United Way and what they were going to do with the books, again, was a perfect fit for our beliefs as.
Rather than take major donations from companies, United Way is taking donations from individuals who want to support them. They have raised $5,000 so far, and they have until the end of April to reach $10,000. Ashton Frager, Carolina News.
Donations for the United Way Book Challenge can be made through the United Way website.
Well, let's check in with Kathleen again out at the grassy knoll. It's pretty cloudy out there, Kathleen.
That's right. We are still seeing some clouds. The sun has not quite peeked out through them yet, but it will get nicer later in the week. I'll tell you how long you can expect this nice weather up next.
One of my biggest passions in life is animals.
Welcome back.
We're back with Kathleen Jacob here to take us for the first look at weather.
Yes, right now it is still pretty cloudy. We are sitting at 65 degrees. It's pretty cold, or colder than we've seen the past few days. Winds are only at about 8 miles per hour, so nothing too bad, a little bit breezy, and our humidity is at 52%, so nothing awful. Now, around the rest of the state, we're seeing pretty much the same things. Like I said, Columbia 65, up in Rock Hill 64, Greenville 65 as well, and along the coast 70 in Charleston, 70 in Myrtle Beach. So pretty cold around the state, or colder than what we're used to at this time of the year. And this is because of this cold front that has moved past us. We're not seeing the rain anymore, but we are feeling the colder temperatures. And this upper level lower pressure system is causing all these clouds, and that's why we're seeing such cloudy skies right now. But thankfully, by tomorrow, that should move through, and we should be sitting with a high pressure system pushing out this bad weather, clearing our skies and warming up our temperatures. Now, right now, or tonight around the state, it will be a little bit cold, like I said. Columbia 59, in the upstate 47, Rock Hill 45, and along the coast 55 in Charleston and 52 in Myrtle Beach, but it should be pretty clear. There are slight chances of showers, but nothing too bad. Tomorrow it will warm up, thankfully. We'll be sitting at 73, upstate a little bit cooler, 68 in Greenville, 69 in Rock Hill, and along the coast a little bit warmer, Charleston and Myrtle Beach in the 70s. It will be partly cloudy, but much more clear than it was today. So looking at our 5-day forecast, like I said, tomorrow 73, a little bit cloudy. Thursday 75, brightening up a little bit and warming up. Friday 79, clearing up even more. And along the weekend, we'll be seeing even warmer skies. It should be in the low 80s, 81, 85 Saturday, and pretty nice and sunny. So we might see Monday a little bit cooler, but we should have a beautiful weekend.
Oh, that's great. Gotta love the weekend.
Yes, definitely.
Coming up next in sports, we've got a recap of last night's NCAA National Championship and how the madness didn't end in March. We have Emily McDonald here with us for sports.
Okay, Okay, so Emily, last year UConn wasn't even in the national championship because of their grades?
Yeah, last year they weren't even allowed to be in March Madness, but in a battle between two teams no one expected to make it to the NCAA finals, UConn came out on top. Senior guard Shabazz Napier showed up ready to put the UK freshman in their place. He ended the game with 22 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 assists. The Huskies never trailed the Wildcats. They capitalized on turnovers, shot 100% from the free throw line, and out-rebounded UK, taking home the national title. Final score, 60-54. And UConn students went crazy after a giant viewing party the school held. They set off fireworks and ripped a light pole out of the ground and threw it through a building. At least 30 students were arrested. With that madness, I wonder who the UConn administration is rooting for tonight. It's the battle of the 1 seeds in the women's final. Notre Dame faces UConn on ESPN. UConn made history in 2004 when both the men's and women's basketball teams won the national title. They'll have the chance to do it again tonight. That game is at 8:30. Former USC football cornerback Victor Hampton is less than a few weeks until he finds out if he'll be drafted into the NFL. Hampton was redshirted his freshman year and is now a prospect who says he's ready to play any position in the NFL. Destiny Chance has the story.
Today was Victor Hampton's first day training since NFL Pro Day. Victor's a former USC cornerback turned NFL prospect, but what many people forget is that he started from the bottom, redshirting as a freshman.
Practicing every day, basically being on the team every day, but not being able to play. So it was frustrating, but towards the end of the year, I got to see like the things that I learned without playing.
Starting from the bottom catapulted Victor's football career, but he says there is one thing that really bothers him.
It's been said that I have an attitude problem, or I'm not reliable, or I may not be trustworthy. I'm very reliable. My word is strong. My word is my bond. So when people, that don't even know me judge me off things they read, it is a little frustrating.
On NFL Pro Day, Victor improved his speed in workout drills, running a 4.5 in the 40-yard dash. This is about average for prospects competing for his position. Proving to the public that he's not a bad guy is a small problem in the grand scheme of his biggest game of life, playing in the NFL. And Victor's confidence is high.
Whatever you want me to play, I'll play it, and I'll be good at it. So yeah, I think it's a positive for me going into the league that I can do more than one thing.
Victor Hampton says when transitioning from college football into the NFL, he feels he has the ability to play any and every position thrown his way. But does USC football coach Dan Austin agree or disagree?
Going to cover kickoff, or cover punts, or returning punts, or returning kickoffs, either one, I think he can make that adjustment to make someone roster.
With draft day a few weeks away, Victor will be waiting for his phone to ring with an NFL offer. But until then, Victor will be in the weight room and on the field, training with confidence. This is Destiny Chance, Carolina News.
Victor Hampton leaves tomorrow morning to go to New York for an ESPN photo shoot. He will be alongside a few of his teammates who are also NFL prospects. Well, the number 4 ranked Gamecock baseball team faces Furman tonight at Fluor Field. USC's Evan Beal will face off against Furman's Ryan Dittmar. Dittmar has a 6.75 ERA. The game is at 7. Well, 40 years ago today, the great Bambino's home run record was passed by Hank Aaron. Aaron hit his 715th home run, moving him past Babe Ruth on the all-time homer list.
Here's the pitch by Downing. Swinging. There's a drive into left center field.
At the time, Braves management thought about sitting him for the first series of the season, played in Cincinnati, because they wanted him to break the record at home. After deciding to play him, he tied Ruth's record, then went 0-5 for the rest of the time against the Reds, and to everyone's relief, broke the record at home. Barry Bonds passed the 715 mark in 2007, but many baseball fans don't count it because of the steroid scandal that has put a blemish on his career. Well, going back to basketball, could you imagine your team being in the big dance and being told your support of them was pointless? That's what happened at UConn yesterday. A resident advisor in one of UConn's dorms wrote this letter telling his residents that the only reason they cared about the game was because they were rooting for Laundry, that is the name on the jersey, or just wanted an excuse to get crazy. He asked them to watch the game somewhere else. Well, I don't know about you guys, but if he was my RM, I think I'd have to torment him for the rest of the semester.
That's one way to be a poor sport. But coming up, this is more than just a brightly lit building. But can you spot what's special? We'll take a closer look up next.
Have you heard? Scam artists are trying to trick seniors into giving.
Almost everyone has heard of the classic video game Tetris and played it at least once in their life. But now you can play on the side of buildings. It's what organizers call the world's largest game of Tetris. This version of the game was created using computer-controlled LED lights on Philadelphia's 29-story Sierra Center. A few lucky players were given an arcade-style joystick to control the falling blocks. The event was part of celebrations marking the 30th anniversary of Tetris, one of the best-selling video games of all time.
Well, that was interesting, but let's look at our 5-day forecast one more time. It is going to be pretty sunny today. We're going to be sitting in the mid-70s, so the weekend will be nice and sunny, and that's about it for the week.
Well, thanks, Kathleen.
You're welcome.
That's all the time that we have today. Thanks so much for being with us.
See you tomorrow, and have a great evening.